Illusions, The Novelist, 2014. Do you remember last time what we talked about? Yes. The shallow grey rang through my mind, a passing train diverting my attention for an instant as its cargo sped off into the gloomy night. I looked out the window, alerted to the world around me. A city of architecture, bronze buildings spiraling to the ends of the fiction. You must not lose your focus, as you have so many times before. I am sorry, I said, reflecting inward. How do I maintain focus? Divert your attention, and I will come. If I accept your proposal, what will I find? Stability. The word appeared, I accepted its place, its meaning a premise for the telling of my story. Divert my attention. What do you mean by this? What is the purpose? To find the heart, you will see. Oh, I misplaced it long ago, abandoned through a purpose, though I cannot remember why. If I find it, it should become lost again, for I do not know how to establish a lasting connection. The typewriter clicked as I pressed each key, clearly focused on its motion. Hesitation and sensations of sorrow arise. I readdressed the script, beginning anew. What must I do? I acknowledged the risk of the words to come. You must be in this moment. Do not try to understand the story. This story I write. I paused. Looking from words to the sensation amassing behind me, it spun together as the presence of the entity solidified. My room darkened as the creature stepped in, a vacuous cold folding through time and space, entering my awareness. Titan stood, watching me write. A looming presence. He was a shroud of infinite energy, his aura tenacious, forcing me the other way. In one instant, I stare at the abnormality, now engaged in a fervor of information, as I was affixed by the motions of language. Repetitious letters, forming together as the medium I had chosen spoke once again. I am not going to disregard you, the voice said. Titan, the avatar of structure, a universal element one with creation. But you have exceeded your attempts to understand, his presence expanded, intruding through the layers of my inner sanctity, threatening my palace of identity. I am trying to write, why do you terrorize me? Listen to the heart. She spoke like a crystal river, sweet and clean, the voice of Omega a comfort, diverting me from the horror behind. It snarled in defiance, impatient with the love its counterhalf beckoned. What does that mean? I said, growing restless. Diversions from my story, events I must face if I am to continue to write. There is an awareness within you, deeper than subtle thought processes, Titan announced. But this notion I must take in hope. I cannot know for certain, I said. If you would but focus on your heart and the energy within, you would see my infinity and radiate your own. Despite my attempts, I still could not listen, these words unnerving. I refused to devote my will to acts that might tear me from composing, affairs leading me further from my stories. Breathe. That is the key to regulate your fictions. If you do not hesitate, you will still your mind of thought and anxiety. Only then can you see. How long must I do this? I replied, for there is far too much to uncover, and little time as it seems. All you seek to tell comes from within, each display a result of your reactions, nothing more. Accept your discomfort, novelist. You are not in their world. I looked at the words, comprehending the text, entering my awareness. I do not accept what you are telling me. It is something I shall not consider. Acceptable as you have every right. I smirked. But through this action, beneath the surface pleasure, how do you feel, novelist? Can you sense me already? The words upon the paper changed, unlocking some sense of truth as the typewriter shifted into a tool of infinity. It created a vortex as I watched, Titan behind, observing me write as I remain in reading through motions of my hands. The device shuddered as it uttered a sound of gears as the parchment unfolded, unlocking a window through space which mirrored in. encompassing the entirety of my world and awareness. There are fluctuations in our connection. I spoke aloud, directing my voice to the instrument of inscription as my consciousness lay in a bed of cosmic energy, some unknown space of a space beyond, and it was there I stayed, far above and through it. For this instant, the dark presence disappeared. The novelist released a breath long held, considering. You seem to tell me to enter my feelings, acknowledge the discomfort and the distress they cause me. The fictions you inhabit mask your emotions. They are a medium through which you have chosen to perceive me. I know this, I said, what we have discussed before, among other things. The infinity brought to me through the naked transcript shattered. No longer was I among its ecstasy, but back in dimensions of mental comfort and clarity. My small room was adorned with bookshelves and couches. Aromas of wood and leather drifted underneath the incense of the transcendental. Burgundy and dark hues of amber, the only colors comprising my room. A taste from the past, it bore the extensions and simple pleasures from men of innovation. The walls, not as empty as when I arrived, laminated with the residues of tobacco. Carpet over wood, stained in the same fashion of desire, I held tobacco and brandy, at total ease with this, a lesser fiction. Why do you hesitate? Titan commanded. The looming figure behind pointed in a threatening demeanor. I felt my room within the world I live shiver, ever so slowly. It fell apart. I am concerned with your validity. You have entered my sanctity unannounced and uninvited. Now, you destroy me. I stare at my typewriter, now the face of my intruder, glancing back, my desk against the far wall. Who are you? Why are you in my story? Your story. Titan laughed. I stared respectively. I am here in one of many sanctuaries, revealing elements from an infinite pool of awareness. One I have yet to discover. The dark mist of Titan coalesced, swarming from a thick void to transparency. How so faintly I could peer through. The opposite wall, a projection. A dream I have named home. I regard the entity, whom bore the gaze of the stars I was affixed, trembling beneath such radiance of unwarranted power. This source you see. Tell me more of this you have found. I lowered my head slowly, barriers of my guard not yet dwindling completely. I was still unsure if Titan was present. It seems to fade in and out, sometimes quite quickly, otherwise this force appears over long courses of time, I said. The cloaked shadow in shadows nodded, approving. This is my only mission, I continued, to witness infinite awe, innovation in all its forms. Every fractal of my experience, a measure of discomfort arising, it became difficult to remain present. Then why do you place such abhorrence on me? Titan asked. I do not. I frowned at such an absurd question. You appear to be distressed, Titan said, so I have come to confront you. Confront me? What have I done to offend you? The novelist extended an acceptance as I smiled, awareness ever deepening, as states of discomfort reclaimed his being. The dark mist of Titan amassed and reformed. You are resisting your own innovation. I desire not to see such an aura. What? I asked, unknowingly peering into that which I sought. My question, the energy of direct confrontation, directed at the source of a new fiction. Space no longer a concept, a crystal shattered at the center of my brow. My awareness closing in, the room faded, and I upon light. I am concerned you may have forgotten your way. Every fractal of the voice melodic, it stirred the nature of my inner worlds, becoming the same force as my breath. My way? But I am not lost, I said. I smiled, a new fiction emerging, wordless in infinite wonder. I came upon a dark forest, 2 rows of dirt pathways extending either direction, a composition of torchlit darkness and forestry. But my hands cramped, fingers numb from exertion as I find myself back before my typewriter. Room intact, I raised my brandy, savoring the stream of tobacco. I recognized this beauty of my suit and persona, feeling absolute splendor in the validity of the presentation of the world invented. As I went on, I began to misspell words, lost once again in confusion. Typing frantically, tears continue, I realize this is the doorstep to sorrow. This fiction is real and so am I said, watching the novelist, as he repeated my words. He fell to depravity, writhing in mental anguish as he faded in and out of his constructed reality. The sanctuary of his invented walls crumbling as the mask of his words now bore meaning and purpose. He felt his power. The novelist laughed, completely shattered, stuttering as he witnessed my expanded state, considering the authority of infinity. This fiction is simply a comfort I have given you, one of an endless many you are allowed to take pleasure in. In this voice was the salvation I sought, its language the magical essence of endless worlds. I became confused as I tried to identify this frontier, remembering that in such moments of exploration, I should not fall to judgment. Inhale and exhale as one motion of being. I settled the alarm. I unconsciously beckoned. Collecting his awareness, the novelist looked up at me, breathing once more. The shattered ruins of a man reconnected as the suit re-emerged. He stood in a world reinvented. Aware this force made him strong. The glory he presented brought wonder to my eyes. He studied me carefully, watching with a yearning to learn. I displayed a subtle confirmation as the novelist looked back to his fiction, searching for his universe among the reality he inhabited. His heart rippled. He could not see it. I sulked as I watched, unfit to continue. The novelist recognized me, released his apathy, surrendering identity, and succumbed to my awareness. No man, nor immortal, nor an icon of reality. The light in my mind grew brighter as this new world deconstructed. We became one as feelings of loss and discomfort eased, no longer a concept for consideration. What you have allowed, I cannot accept, he told me. This world has meaning, one you will never see, for that is the nature of fiction. I failed to manifest this truth under any light of clarity. The novelist was subject to the darkness of Titan, unable to see my face of compassion. Do not concern yourself with guilt. It shall morph within you a state of separation, the novelist said. I studied him, watching as he seized for a moment validity. You understand. An act of acceptance and compassion. The novelist nodded. Hands free, he placed them inside his suit pockets. Only an aspect of a means to keep your fiction structured, he said. I am every fiber of understanding. The fiction ends, yet the barriers of its presence linger. I was in a place above, endless light along a total darkness, impurity. I could not see, I could only feel. And what I felt was awe, as it went beyond the limits of any considerable thought. I recalled my home, the stories abound. Why do you hesitate? I believe it is where you are, this what I take part in now. I take comfort in how I perceive infinity. I chuckled, a grin of soothing pleasure as I felt the two forces within. Emotion, the source of your stories, are a means to connect with me. I have accepted your truth long ago. This awareness is never ending. You cannot place a single judgment. Any reaction to the information you perceive will destroy your story. For you to achieve a proper insight, you must acknowledge the integrity of this infinity. I do, I said, nodding to the source of my stories, the very face of my fiction. We were separate but one. The novelist in space says standing on the moon, but a moon among the stars it was not. The confines, a projected image in a fictitious box. It appeared never-ending, yet shattered so easily. Crumbling away, I watched its demise. So immeasurable, the result of what I chose to fathom. I looked away, so lost in confusion, as the reaches of my sanctuary crumbled into nothingness. I could not imagine this story. I was betrayed, cheated, robbed of its grandeur. A shallow thing, I might say, but alas, it was true. More than a vision, it was discovery. an awakening to the awareness that exists within you. And in this, we glowed so brightly. The darkness of the empty, infinite fiction ended as emptiness permitted. Struggling, feelings of resentment we resisted, our hearts a vortex as we share in our misery. A spiraling infinity inverted, simple loss on every level. I shivered, breathing my affirmation. Tears of sorrow once again, pain in both flesh and spirit. I became unawareness, separating from expectation and circumstance, and now something I could no longer consider. The novelist, a face before me, it sparkled, a glimmer in an expanse so undefined, to make one remark of its wonder would offend its every manner. I never meant to cause you distress. What you are feeling now, the nature of this idea, this reality we experience, could not exist without you. Worlds we imagine, none can imagine, only attempt to visit its validity in ways of collective collaboration. I cannot discover this wonder on my own, though it is mine and mine alone. Invent a wonder of your own, as I ask of your determination, through a compassion for innovation, that we continue together, singing this harmony as you write a rhythm I share, through your focus, giving life. The great void, the archivum of awareness to all things, peered through the core of my being. These forces exist, so you might discover me through a variety of infinity's compositions. One real component, the only eternal dynamic, a maker whose realm lives through your will, through passion, a force you disregard as you are entertained through the false theaters you engage. Returning to my body, I take a breath, savoring my surroundings as I realize the truth behind this endeavor, how I once favored escape in lieu of creator. I think I am emptiness, yet I am all wakes of serenity, all aspects of infinite perceptions, discomfort and sanctuary. What I choose to do next will be limitless. Glowing bright among many others, I fall to ecstasy. Disease rippling, vibrating from this world through fear, a colorless perception. We are what we choose to create, despite the environment. Each moment defines who we are, every thought, every reaction. To observe is to be, and through oscillations we become. Pleasantly no more we fall to sleep, dreaming in sadness and leisure.